I'm gonna be telling you guys about one of the craziest experiences in my entire life. Like the kind of experience that has you feeling like you're on top of the world. Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, can beat that feeling. Well, until you realize it was all fake. Or in this case, fraud. So we're gonna rewind to, I believe 2015. And at that point in my life, everything had been going pretty well. You know, competitively, financially, mentally. I was loving every single second of it. Even though we, and I mean we as in Tommy, Clay, Dylan, and myself, we kind of had a sour ending to that Advanced Warfare Call of Duty season. But all in all, it was a great season. It was my second official season in the Call of Duty League at the time. And I was a part of one of the biggest organizations in the world with FaZe Clan. But here's where it starts. I remember, I believe it was Ricky Banks or Apex, and they were telling us that there was some super wealthy dude who wanted to invest in FaZe. I was like, okay, I mean, you know, I'm just a Call of Duty player. I don't know why you're really telling me this, but they were saying like, you know, he was interested in COD, and not only did he want to help FaZe grow, he wanted to help each of us individually grow, right? So we can do more, make more, be more successful in and out of the game. And then they tell us he wants to fly us all out because he doesn't live in the United States. This guy lives overseas in, I believe it was Norway. And you know, he was like, yeah, I want to show you around, have fun, have a good time, blah, blah, blah. Just standard business things that you do. So we fast forward to the couple days that we're supposed to travel. I'm thinking, you know, okay, I'm just gonna go fly commercial. It's a long ass flight. I'll be passing out, yada, yada, yada. I was wrong. My guy put all of us, it was me, Tommy, Clay, Dylan, I believe it was Apex, Temper, Banks, Rain, Adapt. I believe it was all of us. First class, all the way to Oslo, Norway. I'm stoked. I'm like, okay, this guy already means business. You know, because wasn't a cheap flight by any means, let alone for the like 9-10 people that he brought along. So right when we land, we go straight to this like private apartment / hotel complex. It was like this big ass penthouse, but it wasn't no Airbnb. It was like a secret sorority type of thing. It made no sense to me, but I was like, okay. And when we finally meet the guy, he looks like a normal ass dude. You know, he seems cool. I think he came off as a little cocky in the beginning, maybe, you know, confident, more cocky than confident. And the one thing that I could tell off rip was he was a very good talker. Okay. He knew how to talk to people. He knew how to get what he wanted. I think it is the best way to explain it now, looking back on it all these years later. And this is where my memory really starts getting a little hazy. He wanted to show us this product that he had. It was still technically in like the beta. He was like more and more legitimate. And I was like, wow, this guy really, he might help us out. Like not only help FaZe, but like he really might help me out. So I'm interested in whatever his product is. Basically what it was a one-stop shop for all social media platforms, right? So think of Twitter, think of Instagram mixed with like an Amazon or an eBay. So basically it was going to work like a social media, right? Where I could have my account, and how it was going to work is, you know, I could post whatever I want, but also I wanted to purchase something. Say I got a new pair of Jordans, right? I could make this post, right, with the exact pair of Jordans that I bought. And if there's, you know, fans of that person or people who just like whatever it is that is being posted, they can click on it / buy it directly from the link. Okay. And if they did that, I would get a percentage of the profits. And I really truly thought back then it had potential. And this is the first time I started double guessing if this was legitimate. And I mean, there's not really been any red flags yet. Everything seems legitimate, but for some reason, it was just one of those feelings you get when it's too good to be true. That night, he took us to, I believe it was some crazy steakhouse. Okay, we were eating everything. There was like 13 of us at the table. I was getting the Wagyu, every appetizer. I was taking home extra for no reason because I wasn't even gonna be there for more than like 2 days. I didn't give a fuck. The end of the night, well, the end of the dinner, he gets the bill, looks at it, no sweat, nothing, signs, puts his card down, next, gets it back. It was like an $11,000 bill. And he's like, all right, we're gonna go around, we're gonna go to a couple clubs. So we go in, he's just dapping everybody up, VIP bottle service. I mean, we had people in there looking at us like, who are they? Why are they doing what they're doing? Didn't pay for a thing. I'm getting absolutely faded out of my mind, right? Life is amazing at this point. The next morning comes. I quickly realized at 21 that I can never drink as much as I did that night because I felt like I was dead. My memory must have been shit back then because this dude, this investor guy, was a legit jet setter because he was flying us all to Berlin. He wanted us to meet another investor, I believe, in his company. And this guy wasn't a multi-millionaire. He was a freaking billionaire. And yes, I looked him up and from what I saw, it was legit. But let me rewind it a little bit. I think I had Ricky Banks like pushing me on my luggage. I couldn't walk. Like, I'm not kidding. It was the most hungover I've ever felt. Truly felt like I had alcohol poisoning. I take 2 steps on this plane. I make it to my seat instantly. Chunks everywhere. Luckily, it was in a throw bag. I spent the entire flight in the one and only bathroom, slumped over on the toilet, just throwing up. We end up landing. I feel a little bit better. And then we have to take this huge Sprinter van to get to where we're going, right? We're in Berlin now. I'm in another country. I'm like, oh, this is dope as hell, even though I feel like absolute shit. Realized I wasn't done throwing up because not only were we in a Sprinter van, we were on the highway, okay? And they decided that it would be smart to have me be the furthest away from any sort of exit, right? If you're thinking of a Sprinter van, I am in the deepest corner in the back. I don't want to barf in there because it's going to smell like rancid ass. So they're like, hey, they're trying to tell the driver, hey, you got to pull over. You got to pull over. He's going to throw up. And then when they finally got through to him, like, yo, if you don't, you're going to have to clean this shit out of your car. Bro books it to the elbow, like literally slams on his brakes, puts it in park. As soon as the door opens up, okay, I basically hurdle over Tommy and Dylan. I don't even make it one step out of the van. Just bleh, 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 bleh. Everywhere, bro, everywhere. And I was scared for my life. I was scared for my life, but it was because we had, I had ate a bunch of steaks, some meatballs, other foods that made my throw up look very red. Well, I thought I was like throwing up my lungs, like all my intestines, everything. Like it looked so bad. I'm on all fours everywhere. I felt great after it. So we finally get to this apartment thing. Again, it was a super nice private, like villa looking thing. I wake up literally in time for dinner with this billionaire, and it was great. It was an even fancier dinner than the night before. I feel alive finally. We're meeting this guy and, he's soft spoken, but seems legit. We're legitimately doing anything and everything that we want to, and it just felt right. But clearly I'm recording this video right now because it wasn't right. So we're going to fast forward, right? We come back from the trip. It was a great time. It was a great time. At this point, supposedly the guy who is the FaZe Swindler was supposed to, move to LA in the next couple months, year. The company was supposed to come out. But the one thing I knew is he was very interested in our Call of Duty team. Black Ops 3 comes out. We're grinding it. We're not having as much success as we did the last year. And he was just very odd in his approach. Like he legitimately in Black Ops 3 tried to make roster moves. And that's when it started getting weird. Once we weren't kind of having that success, it seemed like his tone changed, his mood changed when he talked to us. And he would always like ask these weird questions. He would ask me like, do you think Clay still got it? You think Clay has enough talent to still win a championship? It was weird because I don't know if he had favorites. He definitely hated Zuma. He did not like Zuma for some reason at all. But, this guy, at the same time, he helped us out a decent amount, or at least I think he helped us out. So it was kind of like you give and you take. And it was just hard to get like an actual read on him. Fast forward again, boom, we're flying by. So when we end up making the team change in IW, right? We're still talking to this guy. He's still part of FaZe. I don't know what he's doing on the business side of things because we obviously just focused on Call of Duty, but it was close to the time where he was moving, okay? And then by this point, his company still hadn't released an official product. And he was really manipulative when we made the decision to drop Clay for Gunless in IW because originally that wasn't even the plan. It wasn't even supposed to be Clay. And he was in all of our ears individually in private. And it was just very odd. It felt so right when we took that trip and in the beginning. And as time went on, the longer it went on, it just felt like something was up. You know, and we kind of heard stuff through the grapevine, but nothing with any concrete evidence. Fast forward on a little bit longer, you know, I end up leaving FaZe to join Evil Geniuses. We're not going to talk about that, but by that point, I think he ended up moving to the US. He was living in LA and, you know, with his company and FaZe helping invest. And then fast forward to a couple of years ago, not too long ago, you know, I find out that this guy was literally the Tinder swindler of FaZe. He was the FaZe Swindler. You know, I'd always heard talk, you know, the streets talk, that this guy was like a con man. He was a fraud. He wasn't real. You know, everything was a facade. Nothing was real about it. You know, then there was legal there's legal documents. You know, his company went to court and he was basically sued for fraud. It actually happened. And I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I believe he got expedited out of the US and he had to go back to Norway. And it was just wild because I don't even know exactly what he could have been doing. You know, maybe he was a little cocky. He was legit, but he bit off more than he could chew, you know, was just overwhelmed and was trying to figure out a way to get out. I don't know. But the only things I do know for sure is his company never came out. It's not a company anymore. The company's dissolved. He got sued by multiple people, multiple companies. So I don't know if he was just swindling them the whole time and they were on the hook or what, because I will say he was a man that could talk very well and he could get people to do what he wanted them to do. And without a doubt, it was one of the craziest experiences of my life because that trip in itself, I really wish I was vlogging back then so I could have footage for this. It literally felt like I could do whatever I wanted to with this guy. You know, having this guy around in my circle, I could do whatever I wanted to. And, you know, he was talking up so many different things about how it was going to be great in the future and away with words. You know, he had convinced me. And then just seeing the timeline unfold, it made me realize that when things feel and seem like they're too good to be true, to a certain extent, they most likely are. So that's my story about the FaZe Swindler.